20% of the frames, which is terrible. I don't understand why. Camera's mega laggy. You're on mobile? I mean, people are reporting problems with Twitch, but not much. Okay, it kind of saved the... Huh, okay. Now the connection looks fine. But it's still dropping 20%. Alright. Does it look like it's bad? Does it look bad to you guys? I'm about to die, yeah. What the heck? Come on. And the badges aren't popping up too. OBS has been giving me problems lately.
Hello there.
Maybe it's the newest update to OBS. You think it's okay now? Okay. I mean, it still says it's dropping 15% frames, which makes like no sense. Because my computer is handling OBS fine. I haven't added anything new to it. This is so sad. Whatever. We'll just progress like nothing's wrong for now. And you guys let me know if things start acting up. The connection to Twitch says excellent. It's like OBS. I don't know if you guys probably don't use OBS, right? But like OBS had an update recently. That's all I could think of for the reasoning for it being really bad right now. Or it's something on Twitch's side. Hey, we're gonna go with the white boy over here. White boy 7th Street. I'm gonna name you Pong. But you gotta play the new FNAF. I don't want to play the new FNAF. I hate scary games. No amount of money, 100 gifted subs, would make me play FNAF. 80 gifted subs right now would make me play FNAF. Nothing would make me. Imagine using OBS Streamlabs when you can use OG. No, I'm using OG OBS, yeah. Yeah. OBS Streamlabs sucks. There's so much more you could do on the original OBS. Problem is when there's problems with the original OBS. That's... Which doesn't happen often, but I like all I could think of it's the new update, because ever since the update I've been having several problems. For anyone who doesn't know, the original OBS is so good. I'll combine, give you a smooch. Bro, I'm not gay, but I'll gladly take a smooch from you, Dino. Are you excited for your date on Saturday? Oh, Zam, I didn't think anyone used the original one. What? No, the original one is like the best one. You know all these effects I have, the GTA wasted and all this stuff? It wouldn't work, or it wouldn't work as seamlessly if I was on Streamlabs OBS. It's not scary. Bro. Yes, it might not be scary to you. It's gonna be scary to me. Because anything that's jump scares, I just don't like jump scares, that's why. Like, they scare me. Ooh, there was no ice Pokemon here. Ah. I'm scared that OBS is gonna crash again. Guys, promise me that it won't crash, and I'll give you $1. I didn't stop stream. OBS crashed, but pretty much, yeah. What's up, Nathan? It's still dropping frames though. It's dropping 7.8% of frames. I don't know if it's still showing that number from before. That is not good, guys. That is not Gucci. It's sunshine and rainbows compared to the other games. Really? Why'd they make it less scary then? Basically, the thing I used to start to stream died, so I had to restart stream. Oh my god, Giratina. You keep draining my cock too much. I just need to get some flowers and chocolates. Hey, what's the plan? What's the plan for the date? New FNAF is fun though. Stream looks fine right now though. Okay, that's good. Goody good. This very good. It better look good. P-Man? What is this song? Someone put this? Mac put it. Oh, it sounds mad nice. The hell? From Sonic. Keep moving on when you touch my cock. What? What are you saying, Ping Pong? Anyway. No. He's like, you will only get a 10x combo. No longer. By the way, guys, I had a great idea today to do a 24-hour stream on a game for YouTube content. So what do you guys think? Should I do it? If I don't go out Friday, which I might not because I'm still feeling sick, then we might do it this Friday, which would be crazy. I'm just throwing it out there. I don't know if we actually will, but yeah. New record. Is it? The plan is to go with the flow and see what she wants to do, but I got multiple destinations to go to. Nice. Ping Pong's house. I'm mad that I can't spam. What do you mean? What do you want to spam? And why can't you spam? Hope this is the right one. Do it. What are you doing Friday? I might well, nothing really. Wait, let me look at my calendar because I got a calendar with plans on it. Oh, cleaning my basement. That's it. But I don't really have plans Friday, but we were supposed to have a Christmas get together, me and some friends, which I told you guys a bit about before. With the presents and everything. But everyone just got sick with COVID, with common colds. Everyone just ended up getting sick, so yeah, I'm just assuming they want to redo the plans this weekend. If we don't do that, I think a 24-hour stream on a certain game. I don't want to say the game because I want to be surprised. could be interesting. It's not Jumpu Kingu. I'm not mod. I can't spam. Oh yeah. That's how it works. Yeah. You're right. You know. Yeah. I don't think that's how it works. Nope, not like Nathan. Oh, what are you talking about? Non-mods spam all the time. Now, I'm not saying you guys should get used to spamming, but yeah. Why are you Sanjin? What happened? I want to touch you in the pee-pee. It sounds like a sex song. What the heck? Nothing wrong with that. Just saying. 24-hour Pokemon Arceus. Good guess, but Pokemon Arceus doesn't come out this Friday. Anmaski de anai kana. Sorry. Wait, just copied his thing. Copy pasted. I've definitely spammed during WOS before I was mad. Oh no, Jumpu King equals Sag. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. I think Jump King is actually great content, but Jesus Christ, the years I've aged playing that game was a lot. So it definitely has a memory in my brain, burned into my brain. I've definitely yeah. Spamming is a thing. If I get annoyed from spamming, I'll just like tell you, you know? But I try to be like pretty free with you guys, you know? with what you guys can and can't do. I want you guys to be chill, you know? Do what you kind of want to do. Unless you do too much, I tell you, you know how it is. It's okay. I started editing the thing from yesterday's stream, and it's fun editing that video. I'm free. By the way, tomorrow we're gonna start stream earlier, and we're gonna stream with another person, with Upset Trisket. Some of you guys might know him. So we're gonna be battling each other, okay, in a game. Hopefully, like he's still down for it and it goes well. But yeah, I want to start streaming with other streamers like once a week, especially since I have an editor now. Assuming he could like pump out content pretty well, I'll have more time to like make that type of stuff happen. The hardest part about that is timing and stuff like that, but yeah. Does us commenting help the stream? What do you mean? Like, do you like messaging in Twitch chat help? I mean, I love it because to be honest, like half the things I stream I wouldn't play if I wasn't streaming. Like the interaction with you guys, I think, is one of the best parts about streaming, to be honest. I give Doctor permission to ban me if I ever cross the line. Banning people is something that's if you cross a line of spamming too much, like I'm just gonna say, yo, like stop spamming. But I guess what you're saying is you won't care about what I'll say, but you want Doctor to ban you. I don't know. Pokemon Brilliant? No, that would be a good guess too. Pokemon Brilliant 24-hour stream? No. Pokemon Shining? Nope. Ask the dude you donated if he wants to collab. Yeah, I do want to talk to him more. He seemed like a really, 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 really chill and cool guy. I really liked his vibes. He said he would message me. I might have missed it because he did follow me on Instagram and Twitter. On Twitter, he didn't message me last I checked. On Instagram, he could have. I'm not on my Instagram enough. So let me actually go check right now. Yeah, he didn't. So yeah. The actual thing is, yesterday he came into chat right as we were ending stream, and I didn't realize it was him. And I was like, "Oh, hello!" Like I just said hello, like it's a random person. So and that was probably not a good first impression from my side, aside from the donating money or tipping. Play FNAF. I'd comment more. Yeah. I guess I'll have to play it now. What I find interesting is that I don't know why, but it's very interesting to me how it seems like people. He was very sweet, yeah. It seems like people on stream, it's like one person is usually the person that's chatting the most. It's very interesting. I don't know why. I don't know why it's like that, but yeah, it's just interesting. Like Dinell, like you're chatting the most at the moment, right? But then if you leave, like maybe Doctor will chat the most, or like Prince will come in and maybe chat the most, or Nathan, like, oh, Ammonite. Yeah, Ammonite is water ice, right? Wait, is it? Or am I like going crazy? No, it's water rock. Okay, I'm stupid. Never mind. Carvana, look, you can't even see his face. But yeah, I just find that interesting. I said you didn't notice, and you said you did. Oh yeah. I noticed that someone came into stream and I said hi. I thought that's what you were saying, that like someone came into stream. That's my fault for misunderstanding. I thought that's what you were saying. I didn't realize you were saying, yo, the guy you gave money to came into stream. Like I didn't even like pay attention to his username. Until after the stream, and then I'm like, wait. What the hell? I'm an idiot. And I felt like a schmuck. You did say that, though. But yeah, he hasn't messaged me. I mean, that's fine. I could message him, but you know what? I'll put a reminder to message him. Put a message. I meant you didn't notice he was the guy. Yeah. I got that now. I didn't get that yesterday though. Yeah. For anyone who doesn't know, we donated money to people during yesterday's stream, and it was really fun. I wish I had more money to donate, but because it would be a better video and better reactions and whatever. But it was definitely fun, and yeah. Whoa, yeah. Whoa. Let me just message Jared. Still down for tomorrow. See what he says over here. You need to tell him. I knew you didn't notice who it was. Yeah, I didn't. You'll need to tell him next time. Yeah, I'll after stream. I put a reminder down, so I'll probably message him either today or tomorrow, on Twitter, and just be like, Jesus, I didn't even realize the other day. My bad. Blah blah blah, and I'll talk to him about it. Yeah, I think it was a good way to get to know other streamers, and it's interesting to see how different streamers are. I mean, they're all different people, right? It's fascinating, I guess, how out of thousands of people, you guys found me. Well, I mean, Dinell found me through a game that didn't have many people stream in it, but Doctor too, actually. But you guys get my point. Message him if he's down to stream with you next week. Yeah, that sounds like a good idea for next week. Yeah, I want to make it a Thursday, like end of the week type thing. And I know Jared does that, so maybe I'll ask him for advice. The biggest problem about it is that streamers, I mean, people have different schedules, right? And my schedule is weird. I stream 9:30 p.m. Eastern. So, I don't know. I don't know if it'll work. Basically, I'm gonna change my streaming hours around the streamers. As opposed to the other way around, making them switch for me. Best case scenario, they're able to, play games with me or whatever at the time that I start stream. But obviously that doesn't work for everyone. Like tomorrow's stream, assuming that it's gonna happen with Jared, is gonna start at like 7:30 p.m. Eastern, like 2 hours earlier than usual. I'll make an announcement on Discord probably and everything. But yeah, so yeah, Discord. I'll put a reminder for that too, actually. Jump King had literally no one streaming until BOA came out, but your point still stands. Yep. BOA is the new version more recently, huh? Or wait, what is BOA actually? Build the relationship. Yep. Well, he was streaming while you were streaming, so maybe he streams. Yeah, that's actually a good point. He was streaming while I was streaming, and if he came in after his stream in the middle of our stream, that means he ends a bit earlier than we do probably. So yeah, maybe he streams an extra hour later and you do 1 hour earlier. Yeah. Actually, you make a very good point. That's actually a perfect point. The first fan map that came out, Babe of Ascension. Okay. When did that come out, Babe of Ascension? And how's your map going? I remember seeing an update, or not an update video, but a run or something on YouTube a bit ago. Wow. It's still. Yeah, I really like interacting with people, so doing something with streamers every week I think would be great, especially if I could keep daily uploads on YouTube going. I always make good points. Yeah, sure. I don't know about always, but you do make good points. So I'm very careful. I try to be more careful with how I speak, not just during stream, but just in general in life. just to be more accurate. But I don't know if you always make good points, but you make good points. You know what I mean? I pressed the echo button, but I pressed it again, right? Oh no, it's doing the thing. It's doing the thing. But I'm gonna have to go here for a second. I'm going to have to fix it. For any of you uncultured individuals, what I am essentially doing right now is making it so it's always on screen so I can see if the echo is on or not, because it drives me crazy when I can't see it. Okay, we're good. We're back. We're good now. Sorry. We're back. We're good. August 8th. I got into texturing again last month, and they actually look really good. But then I got swamped by Squid. I want to get back into it soon. Cool. You have any picks? For 1.5, I said something that was terrible. True. It's not like I get banned or blocked. You did get blocked. Hey, God, how you doing? I feel like it's been a while. It's been a couple of days, right? But how you doing, God? We did some cool stuff recently. Oh, is this a shiny Floetti? Or they just have different colors? Hello, Get Good Holy. Hey, using his full name. He likes that.
Hello there.
Hello there. Hello there. Yeah, my ball hair has grown. Nice. Always giving the information that no one's asked, but everyone needs. Like Batman. I think we're on reset 128 now. Hopefully I pressed that a correct amount of times. It's horrible. Bro, it is what it is. I got a forest, man. Hey, QOTD. Yeah, let's go. Silk Song. I've never heard of that. What is that? I have to set this up again, because the stream went under before. So we're just gonna do that. There we go. So now we could press that. Jesus, should I pick up my camera? It feels a bit off. Anyway. Silk scarf. Silk song. Your mother was asking last night. How's she doing, my mother? Whoa, it looks like Hollow Knight, I was about to say. Oh, it's a Hollow Knight version. Oh, that's so cool. I should get into Hollow Knight eventually. Cool. It looks cool. I gotta get into Hollow Knight. I gotta do a lot of things, guys. Your mother, Breath of the Wild 2. Oh, that's right. I completely forgot about that, because I thought it was going to come out already. It's a sequel to Hollow Knight. It's been in production for years, but it's finally coming out this spring. Oh, nice. Cool. Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight. Maybe I do a 24-hour stream on it or something. I have to figure out a better, efficient way to edit 24-hour streams. Because they take me forever to edit whenever I do edit them. Stream it Friday? No, I have a different idea. To possibly stream Friday. You know what? I'll message my my friend group right now, see what they're doing. Are we chilling this weekend? Let's see what they say. Lol, who asked? Gomennasai. I'm hyped for that now. Nice. Fearless Josh. What are you excited for, God? I asked. What game? I'm excited for Pokemon Arceus. I think it could either be really good or terrible. Aside from that, maybe Call of Duty, because I love Call of Duty. I mean, the new one just came out, but Breath of the Wild 2, I guess, kind of excited for. Hollow Knight is a fun game to watch people get good at. Hey, just like Ratchet. Or like, what was the other game we played? I forgot what it was called. I think doing 24-hour streams of other games is possibly okay. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure stuff out. We're gonna do Cookie Clicker, but then I was like, nah, Cookie Clicker is not like Pokemon, so I don't want to. But you know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if it would help, but if something cool happens that you would want in a video, you could write it down right after, so it's easier to find. Yeah, so I used to do that. I used to kind of like clip or put stream markers to remind myself. But that also takes you out of the moment sometimes. But yeah, that's definitely something that I should get back into the habit of doing. I used to do that a lot on YouTube specifically. Still no ice Pokemon. It might be a bit harder to do. I don't know if it's harder or easier to do it. Oh, I remember this song. And I don't know if it would be easier or harder to do to do that on Twitch. Jesus, I can't. Rap music makes me not be able to think sometimes. Fearless. No, it's more fun because it's more skill in a way. What do you mean it's more skill? I'm excited to put my nuts in your mother's mouth. Nice. Nice. I hope mother is not watching. Hollow Knight has super difficult but satisfying skill curves that are cool to see. Gotcha. Genshin Impact. That is not the game I'm doing. It's on 4 hours stream on. Or like potentially on Friday. Sorry, Nathan. NKG moment. Why does NKG sound familiar? What does that mean? What does that mean? No killing gay girls? I mean, you shouldn't kill anyone, guys. Come on. You should add next song so you can see the next song. You can. But this is how you see it. I like when people ask for me to add stuff and it's already there because I'm like, hey, that was actually something I added or like something, you know? Like that's worth it to be there. Nightmare King Grim. It's one of the harder bosses in the game. Nightmare King Grim. Okay. How many hours do you think it would take me to beat that game? Do you think I could do a 24-hour stream on Hollow Knight and beat it? Miga. I don't know what you're trying to say, Nathan. You're trying to make me curse or something? I don't know though. Why you broughting? Why did they just go so deep? This is so weird. Is this Fortnite? Okay, it's done. Oh. God. I'm grumping. Ooh woo. Ew woo. Ew woo. I like the ooh song. 16 to 22 hours. So probably 40 hours for me, but it's like the perfect 24-hour game. The hell? Bro, Jump King took me over 24 hours to beat. I mean, it pretty much took me 24 hours. But, like, for the hours I played outside, like, during other streams outside of the 24-hour stream, it took me, like, 30-something hours, 40 hours to beat. There's no chance in hell you could beat it in 24 hours unless you only pay attention to story. I have over 500 hours in this game. My first run took 80. You like this song? This is a backup song. Basically, when you guys don't song request, it loops back to the backup playlist that I have, which I have to update because there's too many Japanese songs in it, which I've gotten tired of, personally. I mean, I like the songs, but yeah. You're down bad. Ooh, woo. Yeah, I'm down bad. Your mom is down bad in my bed. Gotti. Probably not really. I am coughing way too much. Long COVID question mark? Bro, just do the story in Hollow Knight. Yeah, if I do a 24-hour stream, I'll obviously just do the story. But it looks like a game you could get confused really quickly in. Like you just go the wrong way. Is that accurate? Or you could do the extra stuff you want after. True. Your dot mother? I don't have a dot mother. I just have a regular mother. What was just screaming? God. Get good, holy. That's what she was screaming. Because you weren't good enough in bed with her. Ah! Too easy. Make it too easy. Ooh, it's a Squirtle. Any percent is so lame, though. It's the world that makes the game so good. Oh, you're one of those. I don't know. I'm the type of person, and I hate this about myself. Or I don't necessarily hate it, but I don't like it about myself. I'm the type of person that cares about the destination or more than the journey a lot of the times, which I don't like about myself. That's why I can't like. That's why I like One Piece, but it's hard for me to like One Piece because One Piece is like this huge journey that has so many sidetracked areas, which I don't like as much. I hate my name. I'm changing it. Okay. I feel like you keep spelling Hollow Knight wrong, and it's like triggering me a bit. Hollow Knight is easy, and you never get lost. Oh, okay. Your mom was just One Piece. That doesn't really make sense, bro. Like, okay. You gotta work on that one. My mom was wearing a One Piece, maybe that's a, but that also just is whatever kind of, very accurate. The main path is obvious, and the bosses are the only challenge. Gotcha. Yeah, that sounds like it makes more sense. See, when I think of Hollow Knight, I think of something like Cuphead. And when I think of Cuphead, I think of like, damn, I'd rather play Cuphead than Hollow Knight. Because Cuphead is just more happy looking. Dark, like, it reminds me more of Breath of the Wild in terms of the scenery. Whereas Hollow Knight reminds me more of Dark Souls. Which, Jesus Christ, I did a 10-hour stream on Dark Souls and that killed me. Shout out to those of you who were there for it. I think like only my friend, IRL friend, was there. Yay, we have a Mora against the frickin' Lugia. Oh, god damn it. The thing is, Lugia has no moves to attack right now, but it stays with our rival throughout the game. We're gonna name you Rainbow. And Amora kind of sucks. So, we're going to have to get a better ice Pokemon real quick. Real quick. I'm not too excited for this one. And I'm like, we've had 130 runs at this point, so getting an Amora as a starter doesn't feel that great. I can't tell if you're channeling or just a god. I spent quite a bit of time not knowing where to go. PP Alabama. Oh, you're gonna redeem Sweet Home Alabama? Yes, you put the Uwu song. Let's go. I was hoping someone would put it because I said Uwu. I thought Nathan might put it. Your mother was screaming. Yeah, because you were like hurting her. That's messed up, bro. I don't know. That's kind of bad. Main path. I think I saw my brother playing Hollow Knight. That's why I thought it was bad. Not bad, but like confusing. I love this song. PP. No, it's not Genshin Impact. I'm pretty sure Lugia has no moves. No, Lugia has a move. Okay, I was wrong. Well, Lugia has no moves in Gen like 3.
Hello there.
So, that's why. I'm dumb. This is like Gen 6. Yo, what's up, Reflex Tommy? How you doing? Is this the long version of... No, I'm not listening to this for 3 minutes. I'm sorry. Doing well. We're, 130 resets in. I hate my life. But we got an ice starter. So that's good news. Not the best ice starter. But, we beat a frickin' Lugia, so can't be sad. Oh, whoa. Wait, why you what? It's morning. How you doing, Tommy? Everyone, welcome Tommy in. It's short, PP. It's 3.5 minutes, and I'm freaking tired of that song. 30 seconds of it is all I could handle at this point. I'm sorry. Did it? Yes, it did show your PFP on screen. So whenever someone chats for the first time during a stream, it shows, it says there's like a welcome thing that pops up. So yeah, it did show up. You're not tripping. Must like your height. Bro, I'm not even that short, Nathan. Yeah, there's a picture of me with red and blue hair when I dyed my hair. Thank you, doctor, for being welcoming like a good mod should be. Thank you. Okay, Nathan, take some notes. I'm just joking. But how you doing? Do you play Pokemon? Tommy D's nuts? That doesn't even make sense, Scott. If you're gonna make a D's nuts joke, it has to be a good one, bro. Come on. Come on. Come on, man. Like Joe Byron, ayo, would say. It's a masquerade. The hope here is that we run into Kyurem and we could catch it in one try. I wouldn't be surprised if you're the tallest person in chat. You're pretty tall. Hey, right. You're 6'3". Ooh, snap. Ooh, these 6'3". Damn, Nathan, you heard that? I forgot how tall Nathan is, though, to be honest. I know he's 6 something, though. Are you actually 6'9"? 6'9" is insanely tall. Six three is insanely tall too, though. Jesus, you guys are like freaking beasts. I'm just 4'5", a little midget guy. Nah, I'm just joking. I'm 5'10" and a half. 5'2". Damn, and you got a date this Saturday, Dinell? Good luck. I'm just joking. 5'2" is not bad. It's a bit on the shorter side, but you know, your whole family's tall. Okay, but oh my god, another ice Pokemon? I was very lucky. Like, we're just catching sucky ice Pokemon one after the other. She's 6 foot? Jesus. That's tall. 6'3" is like tall, but not insanely tall, which is cool. Nathan's 5'2", stands on his bang every time he's 9'10". The joke there is that he likes the drink Bang. For anyone who doesn't know. Which I've never had, I think. Oh yeah, Tommy and anyone else, if you want to request music, you're more than welcome to. Everyone where I live is so tall. I'm 6'3". You're 6. Jesus. I didn't realize I'm in a chat with very tall people in Dinell. And me. Are you actually 7'7", bro? Like, I'm gonna need a picture. Okay. I'm not just gonna trust 7'7" just out of the blue like that. I thought I had no Pokeballs for a second. I got scared. Here I am. There's so many skyscrapers in the halls. Wow. Just put the Roblox death sound. Okay, this is not a song. It was funny for the 10 seconds that we heard it. What are we gonna name it? What do you guys want to name it? You're just 7 years old. Oh, shots fired. Doctor and Tommy are the same height. That's pretty cool. Any name suggestions? Should we go with Tommy? Tommy in it? Well, the ice cream cone is a female, so I don't know if Tommy is a female. I enjoy the challenge of conquering a taller woman. I feel like I'm in the shadow of a colossus. Spelled many things wrong there, but I understand what you're saying. That was funny. I forgot when we named it in the past. I think we just named it Ice. We'll go with Ice for now. Get good there. This song sounds better. Oh, this is from ReZero? What the hell? I've never ended up watching that anime, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty good. Why are you brewing me? turn the dials, but the dials, but the dials. What did I want to say? I forgot. I'm so stupid. NUZLOCKE community games. Oh, thanks for the follow, bro. Arigatou gozaimasu. Wait, where's the notification? It didn't pop up? It better pop up. Oh, okay, there it is. There's a delay on stream. Okay, here we're going to basically make our Pokemon stronger. They're too weak right now. Drippy. Drippy. Wait, what's Drippy? What's your favorite Pokemon? Iditcha? Awesome. It used to be Rayquaza, but ever since I've been Nuzlocking, I've realized my love for Dragonite. Dragonite is so freaking cute. And like Victini, Jesus Christ. But yeah, I would probably have to go with Dragonite, which is kind of a normie answer, I guess. But how about you, Tommy? What's your favorite Pokemon? Is that an ice type? Let's Powder Snow here. I can't catch it, unfortunately, because it's not an ice type. I'm trying to get XP right. Why did I use Growl? I wanted to use Thunder Wave. Incinerate? Let's just run away. Malamar. Ooh, that's a pretty unique Pokemon to be one's favorite. Rayquaza D's nuts. Doesn't even make sense, God. Doesn't make sense. Malamar is a very unique choice. Why Malamar? You don't mind me asking. Yeah, so oh, thank you, Doctor. I was about to type that. Yeah, pretty much. Ooh, this is the JoJo remix, right? You guys sent this once, I think. Basically, there's a lot of rules, but it's an ice type Nuzlocke. We can only catch ice type Pokemon, but we could search for ice type as long as we want. We could only use ice type Pokemon and stuff like that. Don't tell me it has arena trap. Shite. Oh, this is not good. Unless we kill it easy. Okay, never mind. It is good. It's very unique. Yeah, it is. I get that. So that's why. Cool. I do think Malamar is definitely not my favorite Pokemon, but it's definitely not a Pokemon I could guess someone would say. Dark Psychic. I had to look that up. I didn't remember. Dark Psychic type. Its episode in the anime is really cool, and because of the premise of the Pokemon. What is the premise of the Pokemon? I don't know too much about Malamar, to be honest. And I stopped watching the anime around Hoenn. Unfortunately, maybe I should go back to watching the anime, to be honest. Pose, Tommy, we're all down bad at this stream. Don't listen to Get Good Holly. That's not Holly. Holy. That's not true. Some people are down bad. My favorite is Pipichu. Pichu is pretty cute. Because it's cute, right? Its pre-evolution is really cute. And having to flip your DS upside down to evolve it. That's how you had to evolve it? That's actually so interesting. Wait, what gen did it was its first gen that it was introduced in? It's mind control and evil spirit themed. I could see that being a thing. How tall am I? I'm I don't want to say. I want it to be a secret. So you guys could guess during stream. I don't know. Guess how tall I am. My favorite is your mother and these nuts. Nice. You shouldn't participate in spelling bees until we could spell favorite, though. 6, the best gen? So it's good I'm playing this game. The best game, right? Actually, Pokemon X or Pokemon Y? I remember you playing this song before. It's so catchy. 3'9", close. 4'2". 5 foot. Why you guys think I'm so short? I'm not that short. Jesus. I'm gonna stand up. All right. How tall do I look? You're absolutely right, Doctor. I have said my height on stream before. but looks like no one remembers, so I'm gonna keep it a secret. Whoa, why do we have 5 life? Jesus. 2'2"? I'm above 2 feet, but below 10 feet. There's your hint, guys. If you guess it correctly, I will gift you a sub. You have... What the hell? I was gonna say each of you have one guess. Tommy, are you an IRL person I know in real life? I'm literally 5'10.5". Like, that's literally my height. What the hell? Huh? How'd you know that? Huh? I gotta gift a sub to you. I said it. I freaking said it. I have to do it. Wait, I pressed complete purchase. It didn't go through. What the hell? I don't think he's a scam. He's a stalker, but I said it earlier. Oh, did I? Oh, at least you're honest. I appreciate that. Give him sub and mod and VIP and 10,000 channel points. And I told don't follow you and watch you in your sleep. I just spit because I laughed. That was kind of nasty. I'll be honest. I tried to gift the sub and it wasn't working. This happened in the past. And I cried. No, I didn't cry. I think it's because I have to go like on a separate thing to gift a sub. On a different profile. No, I'm on my normal profile. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't work. I'm such an idiot. What Nathan said. Just mod for the day at least. I don't know about that, but PP is 177.8 centimeters. Yeah. I'm actually technically 179 centimeters. I actually did the math because I knew that for Japan when I was living in Japan. For those that don't know, I lived in Japan for 2 years teaching English as an English teacher or whatever. And I did a test for the kids to guess my height and 179 centimeters. I'll take channel points or mod as alternate payment. I actually can't give channel points out. Mod I can. Here, I'll mod you for like 2 minutes since I can't gift a sub, okay? Here, you're modded. For like a minute. For like 30 seconds. You should add skip song. You could skip song. Should I icicle spear here or is it risky? You could skip but you have to do it together. I gave him mod, he's not even talking in chat. Don't ban anyone. You ban people and I will be sad. Alright, there's your 1 minute gone, bro. Sorry. You should have banned him. I wouldn't have been sad. I'm just joking. Make skip song 5K. So basically, if you do exclamation point skip as a non-mod, don't do it as a mod. If you do it as a unmod, I think 3 people have to do it, and then it skips the song. It's a democratic nation over here. Or you could just ask me to skip the song, and I might just skip the song. Good enough. I'm happy now. Only doctor was allowed. You still have the mark? Well, I unmodded you, so yeah, there you go. Sorry. I think you've been the only person to be modded and unmodded that quickly. So that's an achievement. You want me to skip the song? Alright, I skipped it. You just want your song. It's called Down Bad. You did. Wait, you actually banned Dinell? No, Dinell's still here. Victini is a bit scary, so we're gonna skip over here. I mean, switch out. Because of Incinerate. This is scary looking. I want to get this kill for XP, though. Rainbow, don't die! Look at that, did nothing. I think that's a different command. That's vote skip. No, it's I'm pretty sure it's just exclamation point skip, and then like 3 people have to do it. It just won't show up on the on screen. Like if a mod does exclamation point skip, it would skip the song. I'm like almost 100% sure of that. I'm a ghost. You scared me. Wasn't that funny? Jesus, what is this song? It's so slow. All I gotta do is come to every stream for the next 2 years and I'll get mod for a whooping 5 minutes. You're not wrong. If you come to stream every single stream for the next 2 years and like you stick around and stuff, I'm like almost positive by then if you would want to be mod, you would be mod. There's a lot of conditions. There are mod apps, mod applications, but yeah. I'm looking at your command page right now. You have a vote. So command page, I don't know if it shows you the stuff you have access to. If it does,
it's 8 inches.
I might be wrong though. You got an 8-inch pee-pee hole? Jesus Christ, that's big. 8 inches? Bro, 8 inches? Bro, I'm like 2 inches, bro. You see, it skipped. What are these songs? They're so good. Yours is 1.5. Nah, mine is honestly like probably like 5.5 inches. My PP. I would like to oon for mod. Yeah, you're not a mod. You're not gonna be mod. God. You troll way too hard. You're too young, bro. Not that you're too young. We're not ageist around here, but you troll too hard. Plus, you don't have enough watch time, I think, to become mod. But one vote skip is under everyone. Skip is under moderator. Oh, okay. So I've been corrected. Vote skip is how you could vote to skip. My bad. I'm 2, and if I like the girl, it's 2.5. I'm 2, and if I like the guy, it's 12.5. I'm just joking, guys. It's a joke. Damn, look at that watch time. Wow! We do have a monthly Hall of Fame, which you could check out at the Discord. But yeah. Hey, Dinelu. Hey, yo. Joe Byron. Look at my watch time. You look at your watch time. Exclamation point watch time, and you could see your watch time. If you look at the Reddit, you could see the watch time every month. The top 10. But yeah. What's mine in all the streams? Yeah, so I don't know. It's basically monthly. I reset it every month. And then at the end of the month. Okay, let me run away. At the end of the month, I run away. No, that's not what I do. At the end of the month, I reset it and I put the top people in the Hall of Fame on Discord, and I put it on the Reddit. So you could see the top 10 people on the Reddit, which is pretty inactive, but this is the Reddit. Hey, Igglypuff, this is good. You used the wrong your, so I don't even know what you're talking about, God. You're on top again? Hey! I think, DNL, you have the most chat activity of all time. Which is somewhere. I think it's on Twitch if you scroll down, but... Aw, thanks for exclamation point Discording, Tommy. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. You could see top watch time also for this month. How do you do that? I don't remember. Top hours, I think it was. Top hours. Yeah, there it is. There's a lot of bots, unfortunately, that pop up, but I remove all the bots for, you know, later on. It's basically Dinell, Nathan, and oh, Sai. I didn't know Sai had the most hours. Third most hours. God, this is not a song. If it's not a song, don't put it, bro. Yiyo Please is Shisho. I've been on here and never saw them. Yeah, Shisho's pretty cool. He is from Argentina. He popped in during Pokemon Gaia, I think, originally. But he's Argentinian. Nice guy. His birthday just passed recently. He's around my age, too. A bit older, but yeah. He didn't even make it? Yeah, because it wasn't a song. Get fucked, Stream Elements. That's true. Stream Elements is losing to Streamlabs and to you, Doctor. Oh, yeah, I skipped over Doctor. My bad. I don't know why I skipped over you. That actually makes the most sense. Hydrogen. Hydrogen is actually good XP here, so we're going to use Icicle. Argentinian Diznos. That doesn't make sense. I'm aiming for number 1 this month. It's possible. We're going to do a 24-hour stream this month. So I think it's on a Thursday, not on a Friday night. The game comes out, so that should be some, you know, if someone is reaching for number 1, that's a good time to try to push for number 1. Bend over for free. Upside down. So level 7 is pretty decent at this point. I'm just looking for another ice type Pokemon because having 2 is okay, but we have 2 unevolved, sucky ice type Pokemon. You'll just turn on the computer 24/7. Yep. I was definitely number 1 last month. Yeah, it didn't record at all. So I actually checked after the first stream of this month to see if it recorded, and obviously it did. That kind of pissed me off. It like never has that issue, but it didn't record last month. I don't know if you were definitely number 1, but I wouldn't be surprised if you were. Yeah. I'm aiming for number 1. Good luck. There's a lot of competition. Togekiss. I would kiss that Togekiss in the lips, bro. Anyway. Would you recommend watching the anime, Tommy, if you're still here? Because, or any of you guys really, because I've only watched until Hoenn. Yeah, bro, you can't just say these nuts in front of something. Like, that doesn't make it, like, good. It has to be a good joke, bro. Like, you get some good jokes in sometimes, but a lot of the times it's like competition, these nuts. Like, what does that mean? Hey, okay, so vote skip is how it works. Cool. Thank you, Doctor, for that. I would have gone my whole life thinking that people could just press exclamation point skip. So I guess mods could vote to skip as well without skipping a song, right? Want to hear my best song joke so far? I feel like I have, but sure. Let's hear it. Let's hear your best song, best joke so far. I can't speak English. Wow. Maybe we should give something to top hours person. Yeah, I put them in the Hall of Fame. Listen, what else can I do? I don't know. Sonic through the la. I wish my grass was emo so it could cut itself. That's so dumb. That's a decent joke. I'll say it's decent. It's like dumb decent, but you know. Okay, I'll be right back. I gotta go pee pee, guys. I gotta go. I am back. I need to write a note. What's up, guys? You guys doing your exclusive subscription to OnlyFans for top hours? Maybe. Make you play a game only one time for that month? Maybe. You didn't hear me in the bathroom. Tommy, I'll explain your I have something that makes me have a feeling that I can't explain. Okay. Take some chocolate and some resonance. You're in the Discord? Hey, cool. Nice. Yeah, so on the Discord you could see Hall of Fame and then see what people say there. So if you're wondering, the reason why people have they just translate the the message that comes up when I go to the bathroom. Whenever I go to the bathroom for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know why. What is this YouTube link? Discord these nuts. Discord is great because I could talk to you guys off of stream. And it feels nice to do that. The song that is playing is sad. Sounds nice. Bro, stop speaking in Arabic. I'm Jewish. Not like there's anything wrong with that. I was just joking. Alright, I can't find any ice Pokemon here. So we're gonna go to the next area. I like the Pokemons. Hey, me too, bro. Me too. Play Pokemon quite a bit here. Basically, we start streams doing like tier lists. Today we did a tier list of how cute second gen Pokemon are. We donated money to small streamers yesterday, even though I'm a small streamer. Like we do stuff like that, and then we play Pokemon. The song is a love song. Called Accessibility for Foreign Viewers. yeah, sure, that's what it is. You don't get it? It's her. Oh, I didn't get it. The song is a love song? Oh. Is that what he was trying to explain? That he loves something? Discord is also great for down bad people. Yeah, thank God you're not in it, God. I'm just joking. Totodile is cutest, changed my mind. Nah, I think I put Totodile at like ugly. I don't think Totodile is cute. Totodile, I don't think it's ugly, to be fair. I put it like average or something. I think its mouth is just too like it's too big. It has like such a weird mouth. I think Pichu is cuter than Totodile as an example. I'm sorry, Tommy. I'm sorry, but I could see like aside from its big mouth, I was looking at the sprite. To be fair, I think Totodile is a pretty cute looking Pokemon aside from the mouth. I wouldn't say it's not cute. I think I put it at average or pretty cute, one or the other. Yo, Astonish worked so well in this battle. Thank God. I'm going to find where you're live and make you hear Ooh song for 10 hours. You can't do the 10. Oh, where I live? Yeah, I'm gonna do a restraining order if you do that. I watch you pee pee. You watched me pee? Totodile always looks happy. Yeah. Or it looks like it's screaming. But you know, happy is another way of saying screaming, I guess. Mr. Mime. Me too. But like, what other Pokemon? See, would you recommend watching the anime? Because I've only watched until like, I haven't watched much of the anime, you know? He looks so excited to be with you. What, Totodile? I guess. I don't know. Let's do a stream where we try to find your IP address. Yeah, let's not. This song makes me remember her. She was hit by a truck. Jesus. Welcome back, Angel. Is that what the song's about? Someone getting hit by a truck? Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I feel like a lot of people talk about the anime, and I can't relate that much because I've only watched it until Hoenn. And I actually enjoyed watching it. It's just that they changed the voice actors and they stopped watching it. Damn. 6 and 5 are the best? Is that... I heard, like, the one where he had the Greninja was really good, right? Don't watch 7. Is 7 where Ash has, like, a weird face? It's filth. Vote no skip. Vote skip, baby. She was the one that made me change who I am today. Jesus. Bro, you're like 14. Calm down, Angel. But then again, who am I to judge? When I was 14, I also had a crush on a girl. It's an abomination. Greninja is 6? Okay, so that makes sense. What is this? What are these songs today? You guys are sending like the weirdest songs. It's not even what he's saying. He's saying you take some chocolate and some. He's not saying resonance. He's saying something else. Sheesh. Oh, it's so big. What's so big? What? Yo, yo, I got the bars. I'm a rapper. This is cringe. Because I'm cringe. You notice something? What's up? What'd you notice? Huh. Your IQ? Oh. It's higher than my IQ. If you can see on the top right. My IQ is, Jesus, do the words change? No. 1 minute of that is just enough. I'm sorry. Bro, it's very easy for you to put on songs that are annoying, huh, God? Yo, let's go, IQ Plus! Let's go. Your mom was saying it was so big. Yeah, to her husband, which is my dad, which is not you. The song is beautiful, bro. You can't even lie. We got the anime songs here. So big, my IQ. I wonder how. I feel like my IQ is either like pretty decently high or just terrible. You wish you were my stepdad. I don't have no stepdad. I have the most hours ever recorded. What, on stream? Yeah, probably. Well, I don't know about ever recorded, but on this stream, on Ping Pong Moosters, yeah, I think so. What are you doing, step bro? Frogadier, we're talking about Greninja. The song we would like to dance to, the song she was then that gave me a chance. Kind of understand. She gave you a chance to dance with her because of the song. That's nice. Oh, you're saying at in 1 month ever, you had the most top hours. Yeah, that's true. Wait, do you? I guess you do. We used to stream much longer hours. But now I became smart and I stream less hours. We'll go back to longer hours when I'm not sick, but also when I feel like I could stream whatever I want and be financially stable, you know? Damn, it's almost been a year? Jesus Christ. It's a long time. Hey, IQ Plus. Thank you, Tommy. Figured. Yeah. Dinelle, you had no reason to do that. No reason. Except to see me suffer in pain. I'm still with her. Oh, cool. But that song, when I join, she always plays it. It gets annoying. Oh, that's cute. Okay, that's pretty cute. How long have you been with her, Angel? Bro, I don't know. It's so interesting. Like, I have a friend that they were a high school couple and they're still together. So that's pretty nice. Let's go, Tommy. IQ Plus, baby. Let's go. Mask off. So in 30 years. You're such an ass, Nathan. You always say this. You're like, oh, it's gonna take you so long. No, not in 30 years, okay? In 50 years. Yeah, in 30 years. I think you're right. I think in 30 years I'll be a big enough streamer. Right, guys? Oh my god. I've never seen so many IQ pluses in a row. I feel like a cool guy. You don't remember? I told you, but now 3 years. I don't remember you. Oh, yeah. I do remember after you saying 3 years, to be honest. But I didn't remember. I apologize. 3 years is a long time to be with someone. I think that the thing is, like, if you're with someone for, like, 3 years or 7 years, there's, like, certain points where people say, like, that's when the relationship could go down. But 3 years is quite some time. IQ plus. Yeah, I deserved the minus there. I'm not going to lie. Djibouti, it's a guy. You be broke. 100 years. Thanks. Listen, 30 years, at least I'll still be alive. Yo, I actually love this song. What is this? What is this? It's not the original. Oh my god. Imagine saying IQ minus. Couldn't be me. Right, Tommy? Mask Off is like my song with my friends. I'm not into rap music much, but like that song is just like our song. But not this version. What is this? Are you sure you will be alive in 30 years? No. I'm not sure I'll be alive in a year, but I think it's likely. I think it's an annoying version. Shouldn't be surprised. I'm assuming you requested it, yeah? Dino! Why are you IQ minusing? You're so racist. Is it because I'm brown? Oh, in a year? I mean, like, I don't know if I'll be alive in 10 minutes, right? I mean, I probably will, but like, I just don't know. Say IQ minus if you're dating your cousin. You're gonna have to IQ plus me, baby, because I'm dating my cousin. Okay, the song didn't even start yet. Okay, I'm just gonna skip to where it starts. There we go. Why is everyone IQ minusing? Why would you say that, Tommy? Wait, you're dating your cousin, Tommy? That's pretty hot. So caught in 4K, pretty much. So is it your first cousin, second cousin, third cousin? Ooh, oh, whoa. It's like that's some interesting stuff, bro. Yeah, get me to positive 3,000. My cousin, it's bi, for real, bruh. So much confusion. Hey, listen, what if Tommy lives in Alabama? It's normal there, right? You guys are just hating. All right, let's change the topic. IQ plus if you like watching Ping Pong Masters. That was dumb. I shouldn't have said that. Oh god. IQ plus if you IQ minus. You're dating your stepsis? Hey, at least you guys aren't related, right? No joke, I do live in my Alabama. You see? You live in Alabama, you see? See, I know this stuff, bro. I'm a genius. Still couldn't believe I'm subbed for 3 months. Me neither. You should unsub, bro. Tommy B, IQ plus in. You like watching me? Aw, that's sweet. That's sweet. And you just started today, too. Okay. IQ plus if you like Elon Musk. Okay? Come on. People like Elon Musk. You guys are young. The young generation like Elon Musk. IQ plus if you like Elon Musk. Come on. That should be some easy IQ pluses. Right? Don't tell anyone, Nathan. It's supposed to be a secret. Yeah. Ooh, Doctor doesn't like Elon Musk. Or Nathan. Ooh, Dr. Funkno doesn't like him. Okay. You can suck my ass. Jesus. Okay, I guess it's not popular in this chat to say that. I don't have strong opinions on him, but okay. IQ plus if you hate Elon Musk. If you guys don't fucking IQ plus right now, you're fucking hypocrites, okay? If you don't IQ plus, I'm gonna find you, and I will make sure that you will not survive this next winter. Okay? In a video game. In a video game. I'm just joking. In a video game. In a video game. Musk supremacy. Elon made me lose $20. Nice. His hair is ugly. This is kind of true. Bro, you guys make no logical sense. There's no logical sense to IQ minus there. You guys are just racist. Okay? You're all racist. Because I'm Jewish. I love Elon. Yeah, should I reset the IQ, guys? Mods can't IQ reset. Only I can. You can't IQ minus by 3. I purposefully made it so you can't do it by like 1,000, 2,000, or whatever. Also, it's just hard to do that. It's easier to do by 1,000. Reset? Don't you dare. Do it, you won't. I'm not racist to Mexicans. What are you talking about? I love Mexican people. Reset, baby. Reset. Get out of here. And the first second, it's already negative. God damn it. It's already negative. Thanks. Thanks, bro. You fat Jew. First of all, I just lost like 9 pounds. Second of all, I am Jewish, so that part is accurate. Yay, we got IQ plus squad here. It's pretty much just Tommy, but it's so funny. Once people like the first time people joined the stream, they're so nice. They IQ plus, you know, they're so nice. And then like a month, 2 months in, they're just assholes to me. Like it's a trend. Why? Why are you guys like that? IQ minus, you're short. Bro, I'm sorry I'm not 6'9", but like I'm not short. And yes, I did reset it. And yes, I did lose 9 pounds. That's like $12.18. Yeah, exactly, bro. It's a lot of money. Remember, I'm Jewish. But yeah, I lost 9 pounds. I lost 9 pounds because I stopped eating bread and cheese pretty much. And because I felt sick and I just ate soup for like 2 days straight. You're actually 7'13"? Damn, it sounds like a time on the clock. What the hell? You either die the hero or live long enough to become the What is that from? That sounds so familiar. That's from something. I'm recording this and posting it on TikTok. Who gave you permission? That's illegal. Just link back to my Twitch if you do that. Or my TikTok. I have TikTok. Follow me on TikTok, guys. My TikTok kind of sucks. But my TikTok is just clips from stream, pretty much. It's from an anime, is it? Which anime is it from? From It is not from Fortnite. Jesus Christ. Don't become one of those people. Did you guys see Naruto? It's a new Fortnite character. He's from Fortnite. No, you idiot. He's from an anime called Naruto. Anyway, you're illegal. Your mom being in bed with me is illegal, okay, Angel? Haha, IQ plus for that. Let's go. Yeah, I know I'm better than you in my off-brand account. Okay. The fact that you define better alongside followers is a very sad thing, but you're also like 14, so it's fine, I guess. Fortnite made Naruto. No! Wrong! Did you guys know Stormtroopers? Like, no. I know what Stormtroopers are from Star Wars, but they're from... oh my god. What, are Stormtroopers in Fortnite? Pretty sure Fortnite did Nerd Tower. You guys are just trying to trigger me. I don't have a mom, I have a dad, surprisingly. Bro, everyone has a mom, or had a mom. This is just how biology works for now. I think someone did have a child and was a man, but I don't know the details yet about that stuff. Yes? Yeah, they're not from Fortnite, bro. They're from Star Wars. Jesus, not a freaking Charmander. I think Rainbow should be fine against ice type Pokemon. Bro, everyone says my mom's dead, bro. Like, you can't just say that. And if your mom's actually dead, I'm sorry, but like, I don't know. What is this song? What are these songs? Fortnite did the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics first. Yeah, for sure. Did you guys Spider-Man? He's from Fortnite. Spider-Man is from Fortnite, that is true. Are we gonna die to a stupid-ass Charmander right now? Oh, he growled. Good. Waste another growl. But he never gets paralyzed, yeah? Yeah, never freaking gets paralyzed, bro. He gets a crit hit in, but he doesn't get paralyzed. Oh, there he does. Okay, I'm not mad anymore. He got paralyzed. My mom's actually dead? Oh. I'm sorry, bro. He's still IQ plusing though, guys. But I mean, like everyone says that even if their mom isn't dead. Mom's dead. I'm sorry. She died of COVID? Jesus. That sucks. Let's talk about the tomatoes. Tomatoes taste good, right, guys? Tomatoes do taste good though. You can't even lie. Everything you say is not funny. Okay, God, I'm gonna ban you in a second. Jesus Christ, your songs. Not ban you, but ban you from song requesting. Because Jesus Christ, these songs are terrible. Tomatoes are berries, not fruits. Yeah, I actually learned that the other day. I would have argued with you so hard right now if someone didn't tell me that the other day. Avocados suck. Yeah, they do spam too much. Ban all the spammers, doctor. I give you No, I'm joking. Don't do that. Wait, did we heal up? Okay, I think we did. You see, this is so risky. We almost died to a Charmander, and we only have 2 Pokemon. And we have 2 Pokemon, but they suck, you know? IQ minus, no you. IQ plus, let's go. Except plus spammers. Yeah, don't spam the plus spammers. They're doing the world a service. I don't care about your off-brand account, okay? You don't even respect me, Angel. So I don't respect you. Ban all minus supremacists. Exactly. Exactly. Don't ban the white supremacists, but ban them. Goddamn. No, don't ban. I was joking, doctor. Don't ban. Or Nathan. Did you know a strawberry is a fruit, and blueberry is a fruit, and blackberry is a fruit, and a banana is a fruit? Yes. Now I do. I know that now. Everybody, put your hands up. I got respect, then I will give respect. Please, I give you respect. I give so many of you guys respect, but I don't get it back. Ban Ping Pong Masters. Ha! You wish you could. Nathan is one of them. Alright, we lost. I mean, he has Fury Cutter is physical attack, so we might growl. Might get some success growling, but I think we're gonna... I meant a banana's berry. Yeah, I got it. You're eating banana? Bananas taste so good. Yo, do a TikTok of you eating a banana. Never mind. I'm gonna stop myself. I was gonna say seductively, but that's probably probably a bad thing to do. I give everyone respect, except the people that I don't give respect. I feel like I give decent amount of respect to people. ASMR. ASMR eating a banana. Yeah, exactly. Bro, I'm just gonna reset it. If you guys keep spamming IQ minus. ASMR is this. Hello, guys. Do you enjoy this? For anyone who doesn't know. I'm not saying you don't know, Tommy. I'm just saying. For anyone who doesn't know. We're gonna powder snow over and over here. See, this is why, guys, I didn't get excited for an ice Pokemon. Because it's a sucky ass rainbow. To me. Well, I can't. I will for 1,000 followers. You would eat a banana seductively for 1,000 followers? I would suggest you don't do that. And Rainbow's dead. Stop spamming it! Nathan, I'm gonna time you out. Stop spamming it. I've warned you. Oh my god, we somehow killed Bisharp. I have an idea to kill the herds. Go ahead. The IQ plus if you want mod. Again, this song, like, it's actually not bad for like 20 seconds, and then it's just terrible. You and God like troll way too hard. All right, let's go with Ice Glow. Hey, it's been a while, Buffalo. How are ya? Welcome back. How was your New Year's? As you can see, we're still on we're still on the ice.
Let's go.
We're still on the ice.
You can do it. Bruh.
Monkey do okay. Monkey do pretty okay. I guess.
Let's go.
Monkey do that.
Still recovering. Just got my 3DS modded.
Monkey do good. Monkey do very good.
I allow Nathan to spam that once a stream, so I'm not gonna time you out for that. Frickin'. Such a trickster, bro. I will stream tomorrow next. Or I'm doing an early stream for the first time in a long time, actually. Gonna stream 2 hours earlier than usual. I stream 9:30 p.m. Eastern for 5 hours straight. That's the plan, but lately it's been going 3 or 4 hours because I'm sick. I've been doing that for a while, Monday to Thursday. Alright, boys, put all your points in. What is this? Side with the most points wins. Yeah, do that, guys. Side with the most points wins. Option 1 or option 2? I like that. That's a good one. Just got my 3DS modded. So what are you gonna end up playing then? Any plans? Oh my God, we're gonna survive with ice, with ice somehow. What the hell? There's a gamble going on. Yeah, put your points in, boys and girls. You should make you laugh or lose, or the video ends. Yeah, I was gonna make that. That was an idea for a video in the future. Good idea. Thank you. I'll probably do that eventually. Possibly next week, beginning of next week. See ya, Tommy. See you tomorrow then. Thanks for popping in. It was nice meeting ya. Have a great night or day. Well, I guess a great night because you're in Alabama, so a great night. Going to play Pokemon Neo Y. Ooh, interesting. I've never heard of that. Pokemon Neo Y. How is it? Or I guess you haven't started playing it yet, right? Guys, say bye to Tommy. Be welcoming. That's so rude. Can you please check out my off-brand account, please? I'll give some respect here. You too, mate. Thank you.
Hello there.
All right, let's see. What is this? This video is unavailable. Nice. Okay. Nice. What's up, Nico? I'm doing well. How are you doing? Bye, Tommy. Bye, Tommy. Yeah. I think Tommy might have left already, but but yeah. I don't know, but the video is not working. Sorry, Angel. Fix it. Then I'll do that. Ooh, we got side with the most points, win side with the most points. We got option 2 with 1050 points. We got option 1 with 40 points. A lot of time on the clock. We got 2.5 minutes left on the timer. That's probably why people aren't betting their points yet. Ooh, very interesting things going on right now. Now, we need you to rig the voting. Here's one of the first videos then. With this summon, you can acquire 3 characters. Okay. Get me your cheese. Bro, how you have more followers than I do already? With like 4 posts. Because you told people of it with your other posts, is that why? I'm really bad on TikTok. I'm really bad at a lot of things, I think. It's a game, Dragon Ball Legends. Ah, cool. Damn, the channel points are not rolling in. Things are not going well for some of the people in here. We have 1 death right now, by the way. I'm going to release Amora. And I'm going to hope we could take out the first gym leader. Nah, I'm not believing much in this run, to be honest, but Vanilla's gonna have to carry here. I just posted and that happened. It just happened. Oh, cool. Nice then. This is disappointing. This seems like easy points for people with points. Yeah, it might have not been the best idea. It would be cooler with more people in chat, but listen, that's what I'm doing daily uploads for, all right? To make chat more interactive and fun for you guys too. You know, we want more people in here. That's why, you know. What's the song command? Great question. I gotcha. Here you go. They're waiting last second. That could be possible too, that they're waiting last second. There's like 27 seconds left for the prediction. Okay, let's first Jim. I said to my brother I'm vegan, and he said we will get pineapple pizza. Oh hell nah. Are you vegan? Bismarck. I remember you putting Bismarck last time actually. 7 seconds left to put in your channel points. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Nothing crazy happened. Oh! Last second, someone put 1,000 points, making option 1 the winner. Jesus Christ. Option 1 is the winner, ladies and gentlemen. Option 1 is the winner. That was actually pretty crazy. I didn't expect that. All right, time to die. Okay, I'm hoping Astonish does better than that. Let's go with Icicle Grip. Why? Because someone put it last second. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Let's try Uproar. I misclick, and I know that would happen. I think it made it more interesting by misclicking, to be honest. I had to step in because people weren't participating. Oh, it's Doctor who did it. Damn. And that's the end of this run. I'm not sad. Those are terrible Pokemon. Like the worst. Probably some of the worst Pokemon you could have on an Ice Monologue run. You can at least give me their evolutions. You know? Too sucky suck. Ooh, yeah. Should have voted for me. I'm gay. Oh, iDubbbz, I'm gay. You've put this before, I'm pretty sure. Da, 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 da. Like Budon? Nice. You spelled Biden's name wrong. President Byron. President Byron. What would you like to do with him? Get dinner with him. Hey, yo. Or whatever. It's mad funny. It's not mad funny. It's just regular funny, but you know, it's fine. Oh my god, my nose is stuffed. My voice is dying. I think after I get over whatever this is, whether it's COVID or a cold, I'm going to I'm gonna be ending stream a bit earlier until I get over this. Jesus, it's so frustrating. You know, stop putting her picture. It's giving me memories. She looks like someone I know too. It's funny. Like a pretty girl I know that likes all about fashion, but it's kind of like a snob. You know, we missed the vote. I want to see you flex your points. Oh, you changed your color, Angel. You have purple now. Yeah. You see, I noticed right away. I want a nuclear reaction to happen in Japan. Why? It already happened, bro. Why do you want it to happen again? I'm just dying. There you go. Now I have. Yeah, I see it purple. Because I lost? What? You lost what? I'm so confused. You lost World War II? Guys. Ooh, this is a good idea for a video. If you had a Pokemon war, which generation would win? That sounds cool. I'd have to discuss it with someone who's really knowledgeable on Pokemon. If you had a Pokemon war, who wins the war? Which generation is strongest? Gen 8? Really? Gen 8 doesn't have that many Pokemon, though. How about Gen 4? You literally have Pokemon that control space and time. Imagine if a giant nuclear reaction would happen over a Japanese city. Yeah, that has happened. I know that was the joke, but I ruined it. Gen 1? Gen 1 has a lot of Pokemon, 151. You got Mewtwo, which is Mewtwo is insanely powerful. But then you got like Gen 3 with Mega Rayquaza. If you allow Mega evolutions, like Mega Rayquaza is insanely strong. So in terms of pure raw strength, I don't even know if Gen 1 is good enough for that, but you're keeping pink for now? Okay. Gen 6 has multiple gods that are capable of... I feel like every gen has gods, but yeah, Gen 6, X and Y, Xerneas and Yveltal. So does Gen 8. That's true. Eternatus, or whatever. That's an insane Pokemon too. Gen 4. Yeah, actually you have the literal god of Pokemon, Arceus, in Gen 4, right? Make it a YouTube video? I think it would be insanely hard to, but it's a good idea. I'll write it down. Which gen wins war? I think it's a good idea. I would have to think really hard on how to make it, but I think it's a good idea. Anime cat girls. Nice. Seems like a video essay idea with script and needs some good reasoning. Yeah, exactly. I could do it. It would be a time investment, which is fine, but yeah. Gen 4, do you mind if I join you? You think Gen 4? Instead of Gen 8 now? Yeah, Gen 4 because you got Arceus, right? The thing is, Arceus, I don't know how strong Arceus is. For some reason, I thought it was 6. Yeah, Arceus is Gen 4. I mean, Legends of Arceus is the new game, which we're gonna do a 24-hour stream on, is gonna come out this month, and that might give us some more insight into Arceus' strength. So that's a thing. Honestly, Gen 4. A lot of people like in Gen 4. Yeah, I think Gen 4 is Gen 4 is a contender. It's hard to say though, because like from oh my god, Mammal Swine. Okay, that's actually a great starter. What did we call him again? Harder. What? Gen 4 is pretty much up there. But every gen has like some crazy legendaries, is what I wanted to say. I don't know, Gen 2 might be one of the weaker gens. Gen 3 has insane Pokemon. Gen 4, Gen 1. Gen 1 might be on the weaker side, I'm not sure, but it has a lot of Pokemon. I don't remember Gen 5 as much. God, his name is God. Hey, yo! Oh yeah, his name was God, right? Who was like the 4.0 and stuff? That was Walrein, right? Yeah. That's for any dads. You should simplify it to what gen legendaries. Yes, it's so funny you say that because I had that thought in my mind, but I didn't verbalize it. And that's a great idea, right? What gen legendaries are the most powerful? And I'll learn more about them, so I think it's worth it. All right. We got the idea. Oh my god, you guys are just putting annoying songs like one after the other. Jesus Christ. Da 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 ba da boop ba da ba boo da boo boo. I think it has Peck too, which is gonna be useful. How did we lose the last run with Mammal Swine? I feel like that was kind of sad. I think we didn't get a second Pokemon or something. Oh, it's a picture of all the legendaries. What'll be the best Gen 4 legendaries or non-legendaries that will replace the current best in every type? The thing is, this doesn't include... oh, it does. It includes mythicals. I would probably lump legendaries and mythicals together. I already don't see all of them here, so I don't think this is right. Also, you could add probably... if you add Ultra Beasts, it becomes more complex. If you add Mega Evolutions, it becomes more complex. This song's so frustrating. but we're gonna keep it on for now. If you had Pokemon like Eternatus, I thought that was a legendary. Was it not? Oh, but this isn't. This doesn't include every gen, so I guess that's why I don't see all of them. Yeah, this doesn't include every gen. I see from Black and White, Zekrom and stuff. It only does up until Gen 5. It looks like, which is obviously not good. Oh, because it says what'll be the best Gen 4. So these are all of them in Gen 4. But yeah, I'll keep the tab open to remember to look into that as a video idea. Sunkern. This is like the best matchup for me. It's so easy to take out a Sunkern. Actually, not necessarily. I could use grass moves, but what messages did I miss? Let me just read it. There's a theory that Pokemon take place in a post-war society. Yes, I actually heard. Actually, I did not hear that. I misunderstood what you said. In a post-war society, like just Pokemon in general. That's actually interesting. The goldfish drained you, then there was a grass Pokemon that rolled you, I think. I guess so, yeah. Oh, is this when The Rock? Yeah. This is such a meme song. Good song, good song. Good song. Can I have permission to, and I'll include your TikTok for credit? Yeah. Of course, Angel. Angel, yeah. Told you he would bend over. What? Estoy de vuelta, gente. Oh, how's your Spanish studying going, Nico? I'm reading backwards again. I'm going to record a video of that Dragon Balls and have your stream at the side. Yeah. Do it. You guys don't need to ask if you want to put my face in clips or whatever. Like, I'm fine with it. Just credit me if you can, and that's nice. Dioxis versus Mewtwo. Who wins? Probably Mewtwo. I mean, Dioxis has a lot of different forms, so it's hard to say. But I would probably say Mewtwo. I have the link to the vid if you want. Yo, Buffalo, send it on the, if it's okay with you to send it on the Discord, that would be perfect. I think that would be a perfect video to watch for the Saturday streams. We watch streams every Saturday of videos you guys sent me, so I did have to restart because we lost the run. Yeah, Nico. BRB? Okay. You're not new, Nico. SpongeBob rap, okay. The only reason we don't watch vids on stream otherwise is just because we're I don't want it to be in the way of the content, you know? If it's a long video especially.
Hold on to your
Jesus, a Dragonite. That's great practice actually. Look at that XP. It's good XP. Let's go. Look at that XP. It's only a 10-minute video. Yeah, but the problem becomes when, you know, you want to send me an 8 or 10-minute video, and then someone else wants to send a 20-minute video, and then the stream becomes me just watching YouTube videos, you know, which is not what it is right now. So I apologize if I give you the exception, and basically I have to give everyone the exception. Yeah. But if you want to send it on the Discord, I will watch it. I will react to it. I might even make it a YouTube video. So, yeah. And if you don't have Discord or you don't want to bother with it, I'll watch it. Like, I kept a note of it, so I'll watch it later. You know. I'm just trying the sticker thing. Oh, okay, gotcha, Nico. Yeah, those are channel points. We devour. My sister loves this. Azumarill. Jesus, these are good Pokemon in the wild. We're getting very lucky with ice Pokemon. I can whisper it to you. That works perfectly, sure. Vaporeon. Jesus. Mada. Ow. I've never actually heard the song from beginning to end. Bro, this man got bars. That's a wrap. What the hell? He's still talking? Aggron would be amazing, but obviously not. When your dick just falls off. Is that what it is? Dugong, yes! What a good ice type Pokemon. It's only level 2. What is this? SpongeBob singing it? Come on. Let's go! Let's go! Yes! Okay, that was so good. Okay, this run could be great. This run could be great. Having a water ice type is just beautiful. Actually, maybe not with this, but... What do we call him? What do you guys want to call her? Hey, yo. Well. Got the message. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Name it Make-A-Wish. Why? You could click on the Pokemon and it says his name? What the hell? I never knew that. What the hell? Did you know that? I didn't know that. I made a wish. Did I? Yo, 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 yo. Yeah, you messed up my day. And I am so gray. Yeah, yeah. I got them bars. Yeah, yeah. I don't got a cars. Yeah, yeah. I made a wish. Yeah, yeah. Do you Krish? Name it. Shut up. I'll name it Wish. I'll name it Wish. While I'm jellyfishing. While I'm jellyfishing. Yo, let's go. Bank Strip. Hopefully we don't run into any arena trap Pokemon. Best case scenario, we run into Dragonite and we just do an ice type move. Oh my god, another ice type? And fully evolved? What is this luck? Jesus Christ. Why is there 2 Seal evolution lines? It's really ruining the Blubby bloodline. True. Wait, I gotta think here. I don't want to kill it, but I don't want to die either. It does a lot of damage. Oh. Yo. Okay, its defense is lower. I think if we hit it with Peck, we should be okay. Yeah, Peck did like nothing. Freeze Dry. Jesus. We're gonna throw one Pokeball. If it doesn't catch it, we have to run away. It could actually kill us. Let's go! Oh my god! We're getting so lucky. What the hell? Did you guys see that? And Wish goes up levels. Name it Long Neck. Nah, it's too simple. Good idea though. Good idea. Any other ideas? Yo. I'm gonna name him Luck. What do we name him? Luck? That was a double A. Let's go with Luck. I feel like naming it Luck. I feel like it's a decent name. Name it Lucky. Damn it. I read that a bit late. That would have been better. Lucky? Azumarill. I think we could run away at level 4. Yeah. Yeah, it's good I saved too. Let's go heal. Jesus, that was so lucky. Imagine we get a Kyurem right now and it just sweeps our entire team. That would be sad. Yo, bro, I got Michael Jackson. He likes his flaxen. I don't know. Bro, I'm so cringe. We got 2 level 4s, kind of too low. So we're gonna train them to level 6. If they're level 6 or 7, I think we should be good for the future. Now, if we run into another ice Pokemon, I'm gonna give 5 subs. like within the next few minutes if we run into another one. That would be crazy. Damn, we have Signal Beam too, and Headbutt, and Icy Wind. But guys, for those that don't know, that's insanely like good moves for a level frickin' 4. Like that's insane. It should level up fairly quickly as well. That should be good too. Also, after we beat the first gym, we get access right away to experience share. So that'll be very helpful as well. Intimidate doesn't affect us with ICUN. Lil Nas X. Hey, yo. And a sus, bro. Nah, I'm joking. Lil Nas X has some cool songs. The videos are kind of weird for me. A bit too weird for me, but you know. But I like watching them. Sometimes. Because it's like, it's funny to show people it sometimes, you know what I mean? Yo, Wish just won it KO'd, baby. Yeah, exactly, right? We got Astronaut in the Ocean. Interesting. Hey, yo. All right, now we could switch to Luck over here. Aye, Captain. Aye. I never watched SpongeBob as a kid, and even I know that. It's a remix, though, isn't it? Oh, it's not. What does Freeze Dry do? It does a lot of damage. This is what I know. Jesus. Water gun is super effective, right? Because Luck is a ice water type, ice rock. Yeah, it's just a regular one. Thunder Wave, bro. This might be the best run aside from the one where we had Kyurem. These are insane, like, moves to have on Pokemon. I'm gonna go with Freeze Dry right away. It's probably gonna one-hit KO. Yeah, there we go. What is this, Nickelodeon? Rap. Oh my god, I gotta save again. This is just actually insane. We're gonna move on over here, and then we're gonna see if we could get another Pokemon, actually. It might be smart to buy potions, though. Alright, let's see. He has Refrigerate. Normal type moves become ice type moves. That's actually pretty insane. Let's see. Freeze. Oops, wrong button. Freeze Dry. 70 power. Jesus. And his nature makes special attack go up and defense go down. That's, guys. What is this? This is not a song. What is this? This is not. His defense is pretty low, so that's not the best, to be honest. But making his special attack go up is insanely good. That's pretty much all I can say about that. So let me double check what its actual thing is, because I'm trying to remember different natures. Okay, it's mild nature. I think that's what mild does. Mild nature Pokemon. Yeah, increases special attack, lowers defense. I mean, it could have been worse, so that's not bad as a type. Yeah, next we got Dugong. Dugong has hydration, heals status conditions if it's raining. That's pretty good. Not the most amazing, but pretty good. Has pretty normal moves over here. It looks like its speed goes up, special defense goes down. We want tanky Pokemon because it's a Nuzlocke. Like they all have one life, but speed is definitely important as well. Oh, he has nothing, but he has boosts evasion in a hailstorm. Yes, that's good. Snow Cloak. I think that's good. Not bad. I don't remember what other stuff he could have, so I'll say that's pretty decent. We're gonna save here because I don't want to screw up. Or, you know, if it just screws up on its own. And we're just going to push here. Jesus, another new Pokemon. We haven't run into Dustox yet. We're actually going to Powder Snow. One thing that I keep... we're just Powder Snowing because I should probably Freeze Dry, to be honest. It has 70 attack. And because of Stab, which is same type attack bonus... It actually has 105 attack which is insanely good. And it's a special attacker. And the nature boosts its special attack. It gives a 10% boost. Nature. So it's like all around good. Muck you. Muck you. That sounds funny. Yeah, we got Pumpkaboo. I don't remember what typing is it. What is it? Ghost or something? Let's just freeze dry. I feel like freeze dry is powerful enough. Yeah, there we go. Super effective. What is he, a ground type or something? Pumpkaboo? Because you get pumpkins from the ground and ice kills ground. That'd be my assumption. I'm such an idiot. I don't need to run back because she's going to heal us right here. Okay, good. Oh, that works so good. Heal me. Yeah. What's Mux become? Yeah, everyone knows that, bro. What's Ekans spelled backwards? What's Arbok spelled backwards? Pretty cool, actually. Darkrai, Jesus. Okay, we can't catch Darkrai. Hopefully we're fast. And it's only level 2. Okay. We could run away, which is very important. We don't want to get sweeped by a L-game is powerful. Its evolution is even more annoying. But it's not fast, I think, so that's good. I don't know. Ekans backwards is snake. That's a Pokemon that's a snake. And Arbok is Cobra, which is a type of snake. Muck, you sound like a Pokemon that dies in a Nuzlocke. Muck actually ruined our hardcore Fire Red, Leaf Green Nuzlocke run. I mean, kind of ruined it. Because of its minimize, that boosted evasion. I have to have moves that aren't just attacking moves. Like Thunder Wave is insanely important because it makes Pokemon less speedy and it makes them have a chance to miss their attacks. Jesus, it's thunderous. And it helps us run away from encounters, so it's just overall good. Boomer. Am I a boomer? Yeah, I'm a boomer in a lot of ways, I think. I'm gonna put my feet up. Jesus, this actually is like one of the first files that feels completely randomized. Like it's just random Pokemon over and over. And now it's a Smeargle. Never mind. We'll go for a few more encounters before moving on. I mean, 3 Pokemon before the first gym is like, and they're all good Pokemon and fully evolved. It's like, this is like the best. This is like, the only thing that will make this run better is if we catch a Kyurem right now. Without losing anyone. That would like that would make this run like set until like the 4th gym, probably. I really want Kyurem. It's just Kyurem could kill in one shot, so it's a bit scary to catch also. Alright, let's go for one more new encounter and then we'll push the next area. Elgem down bad. I'm not down bad. Alright. So we're not gonna verse the Pokemon person, but we'll just push the next patch of grass. This song sounds very chill. Ooh, Mime Jr. That's a new encounter. Oh my god. I gotta chill. Darkrai. I want to see if we could beat the 2nd gym. If we could beat the 2nd gym and continue the run tomorrow, that would be so cool. Because we haven't continued a run in a while. We got another Pokeball, which is useful. You know what? Let's verse her. Oh. Dewblade! No, that is not a good matchup. Alright, we gotta go with Thunder Wave here. If it has a steel move, that's not good. It has Furry Cutter. Okay, that crit, so that's good. Furry Cutter could be powerful. Ooh, freeze. That did a lot more damage than I thought. You know what? We're just gonna kill with luck. I mean, it's over 100 damage or whatever. Jesus, imagine it Swords Danced before. We could have been in trouble. I don't got a Jirachi. Oh, I like that. Zapdos and a PJ. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, a fossil. Guys, fossils are randomized. Finding fossils is actually great. It gives another chance of randomized ice Pokemon. Straight to town with this girl I love, and I said, you, muck you, muck you, and muck you too. I'm trying to listen to the song. Muck you. Ha, Machoke. That's funny. And when you see me, Among Us. This is you. She wants a gold nugget. Sounds like he could have said something else there. Ooh, Spheal. Wait, what? Another ice Pokemon? And I'd rather get Walrein, but hey, we're gonna get experience share soon, so it's not. Damn, getting mad lucky. I'm gonna Powder Snow. I think Freeze Dry would kill it, and maybe it wouldn't kill it. Never mind. You better survive this Spheal. No, I'm an idiot. I'm actually an idiot. Ugh. What the hell? Freeze Dry is that powerful? Jesus Christ. I just thought... Oh, God. ¿Qué hora es en Nueva York, hermano? Nice Spanish. I don't know, 12:05. En español, yo no sé. I don't know. Well, I could probably clip that at least, but Jesus, that sucked. Bing bong. You. Nice, God. No, the run didn't end. I just made there was an ice Pokemon and I killed it by accident. It's okay, it was just a Spheal. Let me just write a note that it's dead. Oh God, I'm an idiot. Son las 12. Oh yeah, that's how you say it. Son las 12. Son las 12, Nico. Alright. Yeah, I was about to say what an L. No. The run if the run ended there, we would have had to go up against like a Kyurem and died or something. Which is very rare, but yeah. He'd be the Pokemon on the balls. You think it's worth it to put the Pokemon down there? See, I have to manually do it. That's why I don't do it all the time. You know what? Yeah, let's do it. Let's put the Pokemon, baby. We could have had Walrein, but we don't. We have Mamoswine. Did you skip it? What happened? Oh, that was just the end of it. We got a Dugong. And we got a God. Oh no, we got a Aurorus. Mankey, Papu, Alright, hopefully they all stay down there.